Really, my mom was, really felt that I was kind of a ham and good looking. And so she submitted my baby pictures to the Gerber food bottles. They had a
Yeah.
contest. And so I got picked. I was on the Gerber bottle, back in the day. I won't say what year it was. It
Oh
was a
my
long time
God,
ago.
that's awesome.
So I was one of the faces on the Gerber bottle. That was my first kind of like foray into the biz. And then as a kid, Sesame Street was like on the air, and I was like, this is the cool, like there's kids in this box and they're doing stuff and there's these animals and they're in a city, and I'm like, I want to do that. Like, how do I go from being the kid watching, having cereal and being like, I want to do what these kids are doing. They're like, sunny, like they're hanging around with a big old, big yellow bird. And I was this has got to be cool. So it's like, I had that kind of like, early on, I wanted it, and then even as a kid, I would do, all the theater and I would do school plays. And, it's just, it kind of one thing kind of led to another. And then eventually my uncle was the head of Chicago Transit Authority for the trains when they were doing movies and stuff. And so he got me a
Nice.
gig. He got me a gig on the train platform for the movie Blues Brothers. And
I
I
saw
started
that
up
on
at the
here, but
train.
I was like, you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Maybe it was
No,
just
dude,
the
it's a
same
great
name.
thing. I
That's
started out on the
wild.
trade platform and they're doing like, they're doing this dance thing and I'm like watching it and I was like, man, I would just love to be down there. And then all of a sudden, like one of the moms was like, well, wait a minute, he's got to have a doctor's appointment and he can't miss it. And they're like, we're in the middle of a movie. And she's like, yeah, she's like, he can't stay. And so then they like did a bullhorn. There's like, does anybody, and there's a lot of us kids up on the platform, anybody here know how to dance? I was like, I do. So we came down and they showed us the dance and whoever was figured out the dance quickly, and I knew how to dance. And so I went from being like the kid way back in the train platform while the train's going by to being right up in front and learning the dance. And so that was like that was how I got my SAG card. It was like the big, the
Oh
big
my
kind of claim to
God.
fame, Yeah.
That